right, everybody. This is Anna.
And this is Jamie, and we are the
Dragostas. And this is August 4th, 2018 at 4:44 p.m. And there's actually 4 of us sitting here. That's kind of perfect. I'm going to do a quick introduction. One of the people we're introducing doesn't necessarily want his face on camera, but he's here with us right now. So we're going to introduce him, even though we're going to cover him up. And he's sitting next to Lucas. This is a very good friend of mine it's been about 5 years now. And this is actually an ex.
No, it's been about 3 years for me.
Okay, what I'm saying is how long I've known him, because we knew him since you were about 1.5 years. And this was someone that was very important to Lucas for a couple years of his life, because this is an ex-relationship for me, and that was someone who became very important to Luke. So this is, in my opinion, a really good example of how family shows up for each other and continue to show up for each other and make kids an important thing and make sure friendship is important no matter what. So anyways, just want to thank you for being here. That's very cool. And he's going to let me do some energy work for him today. And so with that being what we're planning on doing after, I'm not going to do it on camera, but with that being what we plan on doing after, I'm going to give a little bit of an explanation as to some of the basics of how this works. And you know, I don't want to own this as the only explanation as to how it works, but I'd like to offer this explanation to you, see how it resonates with you. I just want to show our flag real quick. I love this flag. We the people means everyone. Never ever forget that. All right, so light. Everything in the universe is made out of light. Even the spots. Yes, you're welcome to run over there and look at the lake. So everything in the universe is made of light. Even this blank space right here is made of light. Even the void is made, well, I guess. Everything's made of light. Everything. And it's all light that's resonating at different frequencies. Hold on just 1 second.
Okay, so, a couple chat stews ago, we talked about what is a light worker. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
All right, so let's kind of keep going down that road, and we're going to talk about energy.
Okay.
Because light workers are doing something with energy to make us feel better, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think it was Albert Einstein that said that everything is made of energy. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and let's talk about energy, and then what is energy work?
Okay, so first of all, energy is light. Light is energy, energy is light.
Okay.
Everything in the universe is made of light, in oscillating at different frequencies. So it's vibrating at different frequencies. This something that's hard is oscillating at a slower frequency than something that is like squishy. Okay.
Frozen light.
It's frozen light,
okay.
And all light is information. Okay. Now, we know that when a doctor hooks you up with, like a neurologist hooks you up with all of the little nodes on your head and everything, that they can actually measure when you have a thought. Your thought makes a wave. Well, thoughts make waves. Every sound makes a wave. We know certainly our words make waves. Anything that makes a wave must have at least a small amount of weight to it, which means the thoughts that we have actually literally have weight. They
have mass?
Yes, they have a mass to them. So the more we put our thoughts on something, the more gravity we give it.
So the colloquium of don't give it gravity actually means don't literally give it gravity.
Give it gravity, yes. Or do give it gravity. You just change what you're giving your gravity to. So if you're giving your gravity to how miserable you are all the time, instead give your gravity to the areas where you feel good or what you want to feel. So that you're, instead of focusing on what you don't want to feel, you're focusing on the thing you do want to feel, and you're putting the gravity there. If you want to be wealthy, instead of focusing on how little you have, you start focusing not only on how much you do currently have, but you start thinking about things in terms of as if you actually already have the things you want, because you're creating gravity.
Sound like you're talking about the law of attraction.
I believe that they are actually basically one and the same, my friend. They are both governed by they're both governed by the same thing.
Right.
Gravity and the law of attraction are basically different ways of saying the same thing.
Interesting.
Now, when it comes to
Well, wait a second. So I've heard a lot of people say that energy work or law of attraction isn't true, but we know that gravity is true, so you can't really deny gravity, right?
right.
And
Well,
I guess you could, but you can't
okay, keep
try
going.
to prove that.
Keep going.
But if you are giving gravity to even a thought process, it still has to work the same way. I'm just trying to drive that point home, right?
Right, certainly. And then the more you think about something, the more effective you get at thinking about it. You get really, really good at thinking about certain things. So not only are we coded to be super positive people or super negative people sometimes, but say, for example, that you want to take your thoughts, which have gravity, and you want to direct that light towards helping someone heal. You may love your child and you want to take your hand and put it on their owie, on their knee, or kiss them somewhere where they've got an owie. Or you may be, and that is definitely energy work, by the way, or you may find yourself you're drawn to massage therapy, or you may find that you just intuitively are drawn to people who are suffering, and you have a healing effect with them, or you have this effect, that you're a light worker, you're a healer. And what happens is, as you take your light, your thoughts, your love, which, by the way, the love, when you add love to the equation, it's like throwing that thought and throwing it into a pyramid, which we can spend another day, a whole other entire chat stew talking about pyramids and how freaking awesome they are and how they magnify the power of something. But if you take your thoughts of love and light and healing and you put them in your heart space and you decide that you want to empower those, then you direct with intention your light. It's like gravity. I mean, you're directing it, and if essentially, basically, over time, you might find at first that you're not so sure that you're very good at it, or it seems like it works sometimes or other times, but you're always doing this, whether you recognize that you're having an effect on the people around you or not, whether the effect that you're having is a negative effect or a positive effect. You are 100% of the time affecting the people that are around you. So first of all, you want to consciously choose to be a light. I shouldn't say you want to consciously be a light. I want to consciously be a light. I want to positively affect the people around me. I don't know about you, but I would like to consciously and positively affect the people around me.
So let's talk about the affecting the people around you.
Okay.
So let me give you two different scenarios where an energy worker or a light worker would come into play.
Okay.
One of them is, so we're talking about the manipulation, if you will, or the movement, maybe not the manipulation, the manipulation and the movement of energy from an energy worker who is a kind of the conduit for energy.
Okay. Exactly, conduit.
To the, let's say the subject.
Right.
Let's say I'm going to be the subject. So maybe I hurt my shoulder. Got a little bit of owie, there's inflammation in there.
Okay.
That's one sort of pain. And then another pain I'm going to give you is, say maybe I had a close friend pass away and I feel an emotional pain. So one's a physical pain.
Okay.
One's an emotional pain. Now
Okay.
maybe the physical pain came out of emotion, but either way, they're both energy, right? And so I don't want that negative energy, or let's say that dark energy or that energy in my body.
Right.
Because I don't want a sore shoulder and I don't want to feel sad or depressed
Grief.
anymore.
Right.
So call my energy worker on the phone. What are you going to do for me?
Well, first of all, the energy worker, some energy workers are more, I don't want to say powerful, but more effective with their light than others. Just because, just like an Olympic athlete becomes more and more effective as they gain confidence, they get to the point where they are accomplishing things that seem superhuman to the rest of us, but they're accomplishing them with ease because they have developed neural pathways and a certain level of confidence at their skill that makes it so that they flow very naturally at that pace. Well, as you become more confident with your skill at working with light and your your ability to kind of summon that light into your field, you develop a stronger neural pathway for it, and over time you become more and more effective at kind of gathering and summoning light, so to speak, into your force field, kind of like a magnet attracting
A light
an
magnet.
yes, like a light magnet, because there's an
Alright, I like that
electric. Okay, so in any case, when some of them, whether you're really effective at this or not, you're still doing this. You're just doing it on some level or another. Now, light is intelligent. There's no energy worker ever in history who's ever healed somebody else. The light does it. They are a conduit for the light to be sourced into your body. And light is very intelligent. Light is consciousness. So light is going to understand the difference between what you need for grief versus what you need for a shoulder pain. Or it will recognize if that shoulder pain is actually associated with grief and you just think it's shoulder pain, but it's actually associated with grief. One way or the other, light has a level of consciousness that's very, very intelligent, and it's going to, you don't really have to like think your way into where it's going to go or how it's going to do it. You just have to allow yourself to be a conduit for the light or be a receiver for the light, whichever it may be. And like I said, we're all light workers. Everyone is on some level or another. It's just a matter of how much consciousness you're using in being a light worker. It was 9:09 on the timer right then. How much consciousness you're using with it, or you know, how light your vibration is. Obviously, if you haven't done a lot of soul work and you're still in a place where you're really like depressed all the time, you might not be as effective or as magnifying of a conduit in that moment as you would be if you raise your vibration a little bit higher. Doesn't mean you're a worse light worker or a worse conduit for the light. It just means that you're
Different.
yeah, you're just a little bit clogged,
Okay.
a little sludgy
You
or
know,
something like that. I don't know.
as-
I don't know if sludgy is the right
As
word.
you're explaining that, I'm thinking, you know, there's an evolution of even light consciousness when it comes to healing or
Okay.
energy work.
Right.
Um,
And the funny thing is that they're catching up to this.
Yeah.
This is very, very, very old knowledge, very old technology,
Right.
and quantum physics is catching up to it now.
I-
So it's not like
Right, I
yeah.
was just going to say in 1931 there was a doctor, his name is Thurman Fleet out of San Antonio, Texas, and he is kind of the father of chiropractic medicine. So he believed at that point that about 60 to 80% of all human illness is caused by the mind or the thoughts or emotions.
right.
And
It's rooted there,
Yeah.
right?
And now science is talking about, you know, medical science has caught up, and we do know and have verified that those sickness, illnesses, and disease do come from holding on to negative emotions. And those negative emotions obviously can kill us.
Right.
So what
Oh,
you're saying is,
absolutely.
as an
They
energy
literally
worker,
become cancer.
you are using your talents and your gifts as a conduit to shed that light on my issue, which would go away and help me.
Well, if you're open to receive the light, there's a lot of different ways that it can benefit you. I mean, you can really do it directed to a spot. You can just ask to like start receiving the light in more aspects in your life, which is going
Okay.
to affect, you know, more than just a shoulder. That's going to affect like your spiritual growth, your spiritual evolution.
Right. Now you mentioned earlier too, I don't know if it was on camera or if you were mentioning something as we were walking by, but you can also do this energy work not necessarily in the presence.
1 second.
Okay.
Can I help you, Tiny Human?
I just was gonna tell you that I made a new.
So, sorry, where were you at?
Okay, so I was just drawing the combination between, or the spectrum of energy work from Dr. Thurman Fleet in 1931. He
Right.
mentioned that or in his estimation, 60 to 80% of all sickness, illness, and disease is caused by the mind or caused by the thought.
Right.
And that's how you started out this conversation, was talking about our thoughts have gravity.
Oh,
So-
yeah, right.
Now
Our thoughts have
energy work-
gravity, and then when our thoughts, so say I have the thought that that I'm bad or I'm not worthy or something happens to me really, really, really icky when I'm a kid. Something that I just don't know how to make sense of, and for whatever reason I don't know how to process it. Either I'm not,
which is everyone,
which
right?
you know, we all have that,
everybody.
right? So we all have these things that have happened to us through our childhood that we either have been told not to process them or someone has let us process them, but we didn't know how and what, for whatever reason. No shame, no judgment. Either way, we all have things that happened in our childhood where suddenly, for whatever reason, we felt safer to hold those things inside. It's not something we should shame ourselves for or feel bad about for. You know, it's a very human thing to learn to start holding things inside, but it is something we want to learn how to release, because those things, when you hold them inside and then you think about them and you think about them and you tell yourself not to think about them, oh my gosh, don't think about that, it's horrible, I can't believe I'm thinking about that. Why would I think about that still? Why am I thinking about that? Well, the more you think about it, especially if you are shaming yourself over thinking about it, which adds a lot of gravity to it, well, all of a sudden that thing has so much mass that you're wondering why your doctor is telling you that you have a tumor or something like that.
So it's not only the thought has a certain amount of weight and gravity, but the emotion attached to that.
And certain emotions have more, certain emotions have more weight than other emotions. For example, like if you're just feeling chill with your buddies, whatever the emotion you're feeling in that moment is very different than grief. Grief has a lot more gravity. So does joy. So does an orgasm. Orgasm has a lot more gravity. So does doing a cartwheel has a lot more gravity than just sitting on your rump, because it's more fun.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot more fun.
So whether it's kinetic energy, which is movement, or it is emotional energy, and we're storing that in our body. And so maybe talk about, you know, we've had a number of conversations that sometimes the gravity goes to the lowest point of resistance in your body.
Right.
So maybe the weakness.
So wherever the densest spots are is where the light is automatically going to find itself drawn to.
Okay. That type of light, which is not necessarily the type of light we're looking for, which is the weight.
No, both.
Okay.
Both. So when I'm laying my hands on someone or above someone, or I'm thinking about someone in India,
or
and
even
I'm doing
saying a
or
prayer.
whatever,
Okay.
the light is still going to go to the area that it's most needed. It's going to go to the densest area first. So in addition to whatever dense thoughts you're having going directly to the other dense thoughts,
Okay.
when it comes to using a body or someone else, a healer or a medicine woman, a shaman, a whatever, anything that resonates with you, a priest, a priestess, whatever resonates with you, when they are utilizing light as a way of helping you, it's not only going to go where you think it needs to go, because you might think it needs to go to your shoulder. Of course it needs to go to my shoulder hurts. Well, the light might know that the nerve that's causing your shoulder to hurt isn't in your shoulder. So the pain, the light is going to go to where the actual problem, the source of the pain is, as opposed to where you think the pain is, because it's really easy to think that the pain is where.
So let me summarize here real quick.
And we have my camera too.
Yeah. So since everything is light, everything is energy,
Yep.
we have denser light or denser energy that may not be wanted light, and then a light worker gives us lighter light to help penetrate and remove that darkness.
And that darkness we don't run away from that darkness. We don't rise above the darkness. That's not how it works. You transmute the darkness. It's a transmutation process. So first of all, if you want to become a better version of yourself, a stronger, a more powerful, a more impressive version of yourself, you have to overcome things. You must transmute darkness to become the best version of yourself. It doesn't happen by avoiding the pain. It doesn't happen by avoiding the it doesn't happen by avoiding the darkness. It happens by going into a state of allowing and recognizing that there's nothing that you have gone through, nothing that you are going through, nothing you've been through. Of recording on the other camera. There's nothing that you have been through, nothing that has filled you with darkness inside that cannot be transmuted to help you become a better version of yourself. And like I said, none of us choose a hero's journey that is going to be super easy so that we can just overcome nothing. We choose a life where we know that we're going to challenge ourselves because we have a certain level of faith in ourselves that we're going to rise above that, and that we're going to choose to transmute our darkness and become a better version of ourselves. So I would encourage you to seek out light workers, or to seek out some type of energy work yourself, see how it might benefit your life, see what you might discover about yourself.
Right. And I do want to add that there are a lot of different modalities of light working, if you will.
Oh yeah, so many.
There, like we were at the sound bath, if you watched that video, that is a form of energy work. When people
Reiki.
use Reiki, drum beats, singing, and sometimes energy work is just however you get into a state of relaxation and
yeah,
meditation.
especially like Kundalini yoga and stuff.
Where
I mean,
you're
there's
really
so many,
transmuting those dark energies, dark thoughts.
and that's really what it's all about. Anyone who tells you that it's just about rising above the darkness is, I think, maybe misunderstanding. It's not about rising above it. It's about transmuting the darkness so that you can become a better version of yourself.
And so obviously one of the things that we want to be able to let you know is, as light workers ourselves, you know, we have certain talents that we would like to be able to share with you. So if you do have some of those questions or some of those dark thoughts and you want to transmute that into something a little bit lighter, no matter what the topic is or what the, you know, however long ago those issues came up, send us an email and ask your questions, and let us see what we can do.
Our friend Robert actually came back again today. Can I point it at you for a sec?
Sure.
Showed up again this week, and I dropped the phone trying to introduce him. So here he is. Hi, Robert. We're actually gonna finish up here in just a second and get some energy work started, but I do just want to finish saying something real quick. In regards to you and your light. All right, so in regards to being a light worker, you being a light worker, not other people being a light worker, you being a light worker. Everybody, every human being on planet Earth has a light that they have to offer, a frequency that they have to offer planet Earth. So, oops, sorry to my friend behind us. So, in regards to that, every light worker has a gift that they have to offer. There are plenty that are so magnificent that they couldn't charge you too much money because, oh, thank you, honey. That are so magnificent they really couldn't charge you too much money because they're that good at what they do. They're priceless. But, and so I'm not, you know, even though we are doing a lot of our stuff for free, I'm not trying to discourage you from going to someone who charges for their services. They're very worth it. But understand that there's no light worker on this planet who is more born to be a light worker than you are. No one on earth is more born with gifts than you are. No one is more magnificent than you are. You are magnificent. You have a light to offer planet Earth. You have a light to offer everyone around you, and you do offer it all the time without realizing it, but it can become stronger. And the gifts that you have to offer, he doesn't have to offer. Lucas? Lucas has gifts to offer the world, but I'm going to take one of those strawberries. Lucas has gifts to offer the world, and they're different than the gifts that he has to offer or any of our other friends have to offer. The point here is to open up to the light so that the world can discover your gifts. Not so that you can become obsessed with somebody else and their gifts, but so that the world can discover what you have to offer, because it is magnificent and it is so worthy of being discovered and being shared, and I cannot wait to figure out what you have to offer planet Earth. Oh, same with Nala.
All right, everybody. So if you have any questions, don't forget, email us. And please don't forget to like, share, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Light and love, everyone.
I love